Juan is off this week, enjoying so much deserved time off with his family. So we're going to take things from here with Sean Ash, and the weather has really been one of the big stories that we've been following. We've had a lot of rain, and now it's heating up, Sean.
Yeah, and Ange is off this week too. Next week as well. So a well-deserved summer break. She's got some big doings this weekend.
Grace is graduating.
Oh my goodness, making me feel old too because I remember Grace in diapers. So
yeah, just as a little girl.
We're so happy for the whole family, though.
Yeah.
You mentioned it too. It's been a little bit of a bumpy ride today for some areas, but right now, there you go. Just about a clean sweep. Well, it is clean for all of central Indiana. The rain that we had today is now moving out of the state. We had some pockets of some locally 2-inch plus rainfall south and southeast of Indy. Clouds generally clearing out. Now, what's interesting is that there's a little weak boundary. Look at the muggy meter. So look in Lafayette, the dew point's in the 50s. That's pretty comfortable, relatively speaking, but it's put on the brakes. So, and that drier air is not going to make it down into the central and southern portion of the state. So basically, we're going to be in this humid heat going into the weekend. Lafayette in the middle 80s today, 77 in Indy. Expand the map and you can see the mid 80s back to the west, and I show you that because that's what's on the way going into tomorrow. And look what else is coming at us too. Tomorrow is going to be much brighter from start to finish, and that is part of a sunny streak. And boy, I tell you, this weekend, I've been jokingly saying, hey, if you've got some friends, if you don't have a pool, but you have some friends. Well, my wife took my advice, and thankfully we have some nice friends.
You're checking in, like, we haven't seen you since COVID.
So I think we're going to try to get our kids together and have a little fun, and it is going to be, in my opinion, going to be a great weekend for the lake, great weekend for pools. Get out there, enjoy. It's going to be warm, as it should be for this time of year, and we'll have much more on that coming up at 11 o'clock.
Boy, how things changed when we were in the low 40s on race morning on Sunday, and here we are now.
Which I like too, by the way, but that's just not good pool weather. No way.
No, it's not, and it's great to see that radar that you're showing tonight is cleared up, because we did have storms that came through that to the south, just as you predicted, had some lightning strikes, and there were 15 children in the Trafalgar area that were checked out after there was a lightning strike there. 2 of them even went to the hospital. We're told everything's okay. But, lightning is nothing to mess around with, Sean.
No, it really isn't. And at 11, too, we'll talk about some safety tips, some things that you can do when you're out. And one thing, we always push our app, but if you don't have it on your phone, it will give you lightning alerts. And it will give you alerts not only for severe storms, but if a storm's moving into your area, it'll at least give you that heads up. So that's one reason we push for that. Sometimes it's not severe weather, but lightning can be certainly very dangerous, no doubt.
Well, right, and that's the thing that can cancel these outdoor activities.
Yes.
We've been talking about like soccer and golf and some of these sporting events just go on in the rain, but when lightning strikes,
that's the game changer.
Yeah.
Thunder roars, go indoors. That's what we always say.
Yeah, well, that's a good reminder. All right, thanks so much, Sean. Yeah. Emily Longnecker has been on vacation. She's been visiting her parents, and she is back on duty tonight. And she's really excited about this story about this 13-year-old boy named Isaac and how he's using his inspiration to inspire others. Emily, it's so good to see you back.
Annie, thanks for having me back. Yeah, it's good to be back. This young man, 13-year-old Isaac Stark, lives in Whitestown, and he is just the most incredible kid. I actually got a chance to talk to him last week before I left on vacation, and he is so inspirational, and he's using the challenges that he has in his life to try and inspire others. So he was born with a chromosomal abnormality, and doctors told his family that they've never seen one like it. Okay. And so because of this chromosomal abnormality, he's actually had to relearn to read 3 different times in his young life since he's been 13. He's also had to relearn a couple times how to eat. Because of this chromosomal abnormality, he is on the autism spectrum, and so he has sensory issues. So his mom, who does art, thought that he might enjoy doing art. So he started doing art as a way to kind of overcome some of his sensory issues. And he just really took to it. And so from there, he created a YouTube channel, which is, we're watching this right now. He has this YouTube channel, and he speaks to people, about some of his challenges. He speaks to people who might have challenges themselves, and just encourages them to keep on going. He even has a little Etsy shop where he sells some of the art that he makes, and it's really beautiful stuff. He's very proud of it. His mom is very proud of it. It's a difficult road, but this kid just doesn't let it get him down. He says, if stuff happens, if I have to learn to reread again, well, then that's what I'll have to do. But in the meantime, here's what I'm doing now. And he was just incredible to speak with. Incredible.
Yeah, well, and kudos to his mom and his family and the caregivers around him too, because, they kept looking to find something that he would connect with. And for everyone, it's something different, But if art really is what seemed to light him up and inspire him, and he had a talent there, then that just solves so many problems right there.
Yep, it really does. And he, like I said, he's just taken to it in all of the colors. And he used to have a little bit of a difficulty at first with some of the sensations on his skin. But as he says, he just gets so involved in creating the art that he forgets about some of the sensations. And so this is really his thing. He's really taken to it. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to your story a little bit later tonight at 11. Looking forward to seeing you in person, young lady.
Yeah. I know. One of these days.
One of these days we're going to be reunited.
We're going to get there.
I cannot wait. All right, Emily, thanks so much. All right, well, let's bring Sean back in, because I do have a question for you, Sean, about during the pandemic. We saw people take all these different approaches. There were some people that said, you know what, I'm going to take a class. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to get really super productive, or I've been wanting to read this book, or I've been wanting to clean out the basement, do the photo album. So you had that reaction. Yes. And then you had other people that were like, I'm working at home, I've lost my schedule, my kids are here, I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I'm just going to shut down. And both are valid, reasonable, understanding responses to a big change. So I'm wondering, during the pandemic, was there anything that you tackled and got accomplished, or what was your approach to the whole thing?
I wish. My wife, you know what she got into? Sourdough.
She got into what?
Sourdough.
Sourdough bread?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, so you got into baking?
No.
She got into baking.
No wheat. Yeah. Because
you got into eating?
I'd love to say that I did. But she got into it, and I mean, it's still something that we do. And the majority of the bread that we have had since early summer of last year has my wife's made.
Homemade.
The sourdough starter, which. And so, we'll make it for friends, and our kids love it. Sourdough biscuits, so that was kind of her thing that she got into. Unfortunately, I didn't really gravitate to anything. I was kind of doing the balancing act like we all were, with
kids at home. You were trying to work at home, trying to do TV
which
at home.
Sounded great. But initially, by
first.
the way, yeah, I was like, okay, and because she even, multiple times when we were first getting ready to do it, she goes, "You think yeah, no problem." And we had the twins they just finished today was their last day, so they were just starting their kindergarten year, and I think if they were a few grades older, it probably would have been a little more manageable, but so. It was. I can't believe that whole year's gone by so fast.
I know. It's like there were some things that I learned that I really just appreciated so much more, and then other things that I just took for granted. And it's like, gosh, coming in and seeing my coworkers and having this routine. So. Yeah,
and for me, it is still walking into the newsroom. It is still kind of like time's kind of stood still in there to a certain degree, and it reminds me of life prior to all of this. And it's still, kind of a surreal thing here when we get more and more people in the building, and so.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I saw some people. We even had a coworker that learned how to like computer program and get this whole other job. Being
Yes.
really successful in taking that time and being productive with it. And one of our newest reporters, John Duran, found a family that looked in the backyard and said, well, we could do something with this. It took the time, and they built a ball diamond that is now a big place where people come to play wiffle ball. And it's, it's so productive, and it's like they built it out of nothing. It's a really interesting story. Let's take a look.
We were always like, could you imagine if this blew up? And now we're here.
If you build it, the wiffle ball players will come from all over the place.
This is like up here for me in terms of things that I take a lot of pride in.
Brendan Dudas transformed the backyard of his childhood home into Indy's field of dreams, the dirt yard.
You feel silly doing it, but then again, it's a passion of mine.
And unless you're looking for it, you'll likely never find it.
I would attribute 50% of this place is just its lure to the fact that it's in a backyard, and it's what wiffle ball was always meant to be.
Around this south side of Indianapolis home, onto a gravel driveway.
You're sitting there on a Sunday afternoon down the back porch, and next thing you know, you got 100 people in your backyard.
Brendan may have moved out of his parents' house, but the wiffle ball hasn't.
We just had people come down from Maine, Chicago, Wisconsin to play wiffle ball. I mean, you never know that somebody, the wiffle ball was that deep or people are that serious about it.
Whenever I would tell people, hey, come play wiffle ball with us, they'd be like, wiffle ball? What are you, 12 years old?
Dudas started building the field in middle school, inviting his friends over to play after baseball tournaments.
Every single year, just attempting to do something a little extra, going over the top.
And when life moved on and everybody grew up, this kids game became an even bigger draw.
It's really just mainly boils down to the fact that this is kind of keeping us all together. And as things get crazy, you grow up, you get jobs and kids and move away. This is something that is kind of the core of all of our relationships out here.
Aiden fires in a strike. He struggled with command last inning.
Too many times I see dads like, oh, I wish I'd see my son more often. Well, if you have something like this in your backyard, you're going to see him multiple times a week.
There's no slowing down. The dirt yard continues to build.
Full count.
As its popularity grows.
I call it ironically serious. Just trying to think, if the MLB does it, Circle City Wiffle wants to do it.
Oh, that's great. And John went up and took a few swings, and it was amazing how far he could hit a wiffle ball, Sean.
Well, I played high school baseball.
What position?
I played outfield.
Okay.
I could not hit the curveball, so wiffle ball, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
His swing, by the way.
Huh?
His swing, John's swing.
Very
great.
good. Yeah, it had full rotation, all
And
the way
that,
finishing
I
at
tell
the
you
back.
though, that I love that field, and what the father said, about spending that time,
Yeah, I mean, it really is about getting back to the basics. It's, we've had some time to reflect over this last year and can appreciate those things even more.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us tonight. We're going to finish putting the bow on the 11 o'clock show and go over a couple more things and put it together for you. And we hope that you join us over on Channel 13 at 11 o'clock tonight. For Sean Ash, I'm Anne Marie Tiernan. Thanks so much for watching.